Do you know where your parents are? Let's get the show on the road. Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Buzz on the MHRT network, as well as our own channel, Broncos Buzz on YouTube. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, honesty, and of course, Spence's micro comments today, my comments, and your entirely full comments in the chat. We are Broncos Buzz. Hold on a second, Spence. Where in heaven's name are you? You look like you got a bomber jacket on. What's going on there?
I am working the Genesis Invitational PGA Tour event. I have been doing this since 1987 as a volunteer. I'm in charge of the Standard Bearers. I'm a tournament chairman that has been a tournament chairman for since 2010. Love doing this. Have a great time. I'm out here at the course at the driving range right now in a little office. I've got my team right now who's waiting for more of our Standard Bearers to come off the course. The round is almost over. Then we're going to quickly transition the boards, set up new boards, get ready for round two. There's a great tournament going on, sponsored by Genesis. So having a great time, enjoying myself, and just enjoying it. I'm sorry I can't be part of the show tonight as duty calls, but Bill, I'm leaving the show in excellent hands with you.
All right, real quick before you bail out, explain it to everybody what a Standard Bearer is.
So a Standard Bearer is just like one of these things. It's a little sign where we carry all three names down the fairway with each group, professional group, and we keep score for everybody in the audience watching the event. So while you see some of the greatest golfers in the world swinging the golf clubs, hitting the balls, we're with them carrying a sign that shows their actual scores to par. It's ongoing.
Nice. Well, I'll tell you what, you stay warm because it looks like it's cold there along the coast there and up there in the LA area. And you stay warm. Spence will miss you on the show for sure. But hey, like they say, the show must go on. So that's what we're going to do.
So I appreciate everything in the audience. You guys have a great show. Hi, Genesis Alvarez. I appreciate you saying hello.
Speaking of the Genesis, Genesis Invitational.
But yeah. I also will leave after seeing this comment. Brad H., thank you so much. Good Friday afternoon to my favorite Bronco podcasters of all time. Let's talk about free agency next week. Let's go Broncos. We'll talk more about free agency next week. At this time, Bill, I bequeath the stage to you. Have a great show. If I can check back in later, I will.
Absolutely, Spence.
You guys have a safe weekend. Watch the Genesis Invitational on Golf Channel and CBS this weekend, starting at 12 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Mountain, 2 o'clock Central, 3 Eastern. Take care. Have a great show, Bill.
All right. Thanks, Spence. Drive safe, man. We'll talk to you soon. All right, guys. That is Spence. And since he's busy doing the Genesis Invitational up there in the LA area, I am doing solo. Haven't done solo in a year because I've had Spence since last January of 2025. So, guys, it's me back in the saddle riding solo. But hey, you guys, I know will help me out in the chat, so I really do appreciate it. Before we get into the very first topic, I want to hit victory lap. Batting off leadoff says, "Yo!" I said, "What's up, victory lap?" Hope everyone's doing good, by the way. Hope everybody had a great week. Raining 4 straight days here in Southern California. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Today wasn't raining, but it was bitterly, bitterly cold for Southern California. I think the temperature high today was like 49 degrees. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, let's get in the first topic, guys. Don't be shy when it comes to the chat. I will always bring up the chat. You guys know that. So really do appreciate the fact you guys are here on this Friday. It's the 20th of February, and I've got the Cubs hat on. Why? Look down there. Well, right there. Trying to get there. It says baseball season is officially here. Absolutely. Cubs played the White Sox today in a preseason game. They got their tail ends kicked 8-1, but it's okay. It's totally okay. All right. Yes, Jenna says, Alvarez says, I'm here. Absolutely. Glad you are here. Thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate it. All right. First topic. Former Broncos head coach is returning to the NFL after a brief absence. The Buffalo Bills have hired John Fox as a senior assistant coach and will work closely with defensive coordinator Jim Leonhard. Leonhard was also poached from Denver by Buffalo. And that Bills. Okay, man, I can't have this happening. Hang on, guys. Hang on. All right. Okay. All right. See what happens when Spence isn't here? Things get all jacked up. Anyways, so the Buffalo Bills are snagging Bronco coaches left and right, and so are the Vegas Raiders. We'll get into that in a little bit down the road as well. Dom Mars 58, nice to have you in the chat. He says Cubbies. Yeah, absolutely, man. Love the Cubs. Been a Cubs fan since 1973. Spent my 15th birthday in Wrigley Field. It was so much fun. So much fun. Megan Sam Miller says, is John Fox still a thing? Well, apparently the Buffalo Bills think he is because they've hired him as the assistant coordinator. He's going to be, says, assistant. He's going to work closely with defensive coordinator Jim Leonhard. So apparently they think highly enough of him and what he brings, to the team and whatnot. And the Buffalo Bills coaches, other than Leonhard, are under 40 years of age. So, there's a lot of youth on Buffalo, and they thought bringing somebody in like John Fox could help out Leonhard and make it kind of like a bridge, so to speak. So that's basically why John Fox was hired. It just bothers me that a lot of these former Bronco coaches are going to other teams like Buffalo and like the Raiders. And, especially the Raiders, because they got Clint Kubiak, which is Gary Kubiak's son. Gary Kubiak was the head coach of the Broncos that won Super Bowl 50 with Peyton Manning. And now you got Clint Kubiak, his son, in Vegas, and he's fleecing the Broncos' former coaches. Not that those coaches really know the system and whatnot that Sean Payton brings, but they're still former Broncos coaches, and that bothers me. That really does bother me. Anyways, it's just irritating to me. 46 MD says, how much did the Cubs pay Alex Bregman? You know what? Good question. Let me look that up real quick because you asked the question. I will find the answer. Okay, here we go. Okay, Google. How much did the Cubs pay Alex Bregman to join them? Oh, come on. How come this isn't working? Why isn't this working now? Hang on, guy. Hang on. Just bear with me. I'll find it. How much is Alex Bregman? new contract worth? Okay, here it is. Alex Bregman signed a 5-year, $175 million contract with the Chicago Cubs. The deal finalized in January 26th include an average annual value of $35 million, no opt-outs, and a full no trade clause, which means he really wants to stay in Chicago. That's great. Contract followed this his decision to opt out of his previous deal with the Boston Red Sox. So there you go. $175 million contract, $35 million per year, and no opt-out and a full no trade clause. So there you have it. You ask, and we will deliver. So there you go. Wow, $175 million, 5 years. Well, he wanted to leave Boston. Well, he went from one legendary team in Boston to another legendary team in Chicago Cubs. So that's great. That's great. I'm glad he's there. Really am. So 46MD said, just asking because I'm a lifelong Astros fan. Well, there you go. You just got the answer. 175 for 5 years, 35 per year. There you go. All right. The main topic of the show is, does JK Dobbins stay in Denver? Well, according to him, yes. But he's not the general manager. He's not the head coach. He's not the owner. But let's find out what it says. The Broncos have several key players hitting free agency, and one of them is running back JK Dobbins. According to Sports Illustrated, Dobbins had this to say, and I quote, "It's been a great time here in my short time. I think I'll be here. Hopefully I will. I think I'm a Bronco for life," end quote. Sounds to me like he wants to stay. Of course he does. Of course he does. He's on a team that is on the move upwards. He's got a legendary head coach in Sean Payton, a Super Bowl winning head coach in Sean Payton, and he loves Denver, Colorado. He's said that many times. He doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay. Does Denver keep J.K. Dobbins? That's the question I have. To me, it would be foolish not to keep him. Okay, people are going to say, well, he's injury prone. He was injured last year. He's gotten injured in years when he was with the Chargers. Okay, that happens. It does happen. But if he can work through these injuries and he can stay healthy and he can produce, he had over 700 rushing yards before he got injured. And that he could have easily gone over 1,000 yards. Now, is there any guarantee that he can stay healthy? No, there's no guarantee anybody can stay healthy. I mean, you look at any player. Look at Patrick Mahomes. He got injured late in the season, and who knows if he's going to be the same with that torn ACL? Nobody knows. You don't want to see a guy's career end like that. I mean, Terrell Davis's career ended that way, but that was after he had an immaculate immaculate career with Super Bowl MVP, league MVP, 2,000 yards rushing. Yeah, but it does happen. Do I want J.K. Dobbins to stay? Absolutely. Absolutely. He can be a mentor to other running backs. He can be that guy that carries the heavy load. He can be there for Harvey, RJ Harvey. He can be there for him and mentor him and kind of take him under his wing. So yes, I think J.K. Dobbins is an asset. Do I think he's our number one back? Well, he was last year, but there are some backs that are out there, and we're going to get into one in particular later on in the show. But boy, if we had Dobbins and we have Harvey and we have one guy that's out there that they're not going to franchise tag, might be something really, really to think about and look into. Really might be. Brad H says, hold up, Bill, your arm. You're a Broncos fan and Avs fan. I'm relieved that you are not a Rockies fan because they are absolutely terrible. I'm not a Rockies fan. I do like the Rockies just because it's Colorado, but they're not my favorite team. And the reason why the Cubs are my favorite team, and I've mentioned it several times, is because I spent my 15th birthday in Wrigley Field, and it was very memorable to me. It was in 1973. Contrary to what Madungus thinks that it was 18 or 1773, that's not the case. It was 1973. I spent my 15th birthday there on July 21st, 1973. And it was against the San Francisco Giants. And it was Willie McCovey, Willie Mays, Juan Marichal, all those greats. On the Giants side, Cubs had Ron Santo and Ernie Banks and Ferguson Jenkins. It was just, I look back at that and just think, man, I got to see these guys in person as a 15-year-old. It's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. That's why I'm a Cubs fan. So there you go. Yeah, Avalanche fan for sure. Right there. Broncos fan for sure. Cubs hat right there. Okay. Let's go down the list. Big E, Bronco, what is up? Big E in the house says, if Denver cannot get one of the top 3 running backs in free agency, that would be New York Jets running back Hall, Jacksonville Jaguars running back Travis Etienne, and Seattle's running back, which is Walker. All right. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into those for sure. So stick around, Big E. That's right around the corner. We got a couple other topics before we run into those, the topics that you're talking about, the running backs, but I will definitely, I kept saying we because I'm used to Spence being here. I will get into that for sure. Absolutely. Madungus, what do you mean the Cubs suck? Well, they don't. No, they don't. Did you forget about 2016? World Series after 108 seasons? There might be another 108 before we win again, but hey, at least we won a championship in my lifetime. That's what I care about. Mega Sam Miller says Dobbins should have Perrine type role numbers. Now, Perrine type role next season. Turn him loose if the Broncos make the playoffs. Oh, man, can you imagine if Dobbins would have been active for the playoff run? Oh, my gosh. I think it'd be completely different. It'd be completely different outcome. Dobbins in there, Bro Nick's in there. Oh, God, it would have been totally different. Absolutely, totally different. But could have, should have, could have, would have, whatever. I mean, it happens. What are you going to do? Just got to keep pressing on for the next season. But hey, man, we made a great run. Unfortunately, the wheels just came off, figuratively and literally. Wheels came off in the playoffs, and that was the end of that. Big E says they need to go after Atlanta Falcons backup running back Tyler Ager and try to bring JK Dobbins back and draft Washington's running back Johnson in the 3rd or 4th round. Okay, all right, that sounds legit. I would give that a lot of merit. Absolutely. I still think that there's one key running back we can get in free agency. And like I said, we'll get to that. But I have no qualms about going after a running back in the draft. Again, you just don't know who you're going to get, if they're going to produce. Well, I guess that's with any draft pick, obviously. But hopefully the Broncos can shore up their running back, or the running back room. I do like the fact that we have Dobbins. I want to keep him. I also like the fact that we have RJ Harvey. I like Harvey. He just has to learn to run between the tackles and not always run outside. And in the NFL, the speed of the outside guys is much faster, much quicker than it is in college. So he's got to learn, and the blocking has to be there. It's like everybody said, it's a team effort. It's not just one guy trying to do it all. So I totally agree. We got to shore that up. Madunga says Atlanta's Tyler Algier over ETN. Okay. All right. But is he a free agent? Are they free agents, or do we have to make a trade? If there's a trade involved, I'm not too sure we want to do it, because what are we going to have to give up? 1st round pick, 2nd round, 3rd round, players, a combination of player and draft picks. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that at all. T-Bomb 322 says Mike Washington would be a better running back than actually getting a kid out of Nebraska. Okay. All right. Then, hey, you guys know more about the draft than I do. I'm not a big draft guy, but I do know, big names and things like that. But when it comes to you guys knowing the draft and all that, hey man, I'll trust your knowledge. And I just know that once they get to the pros, and then I watch how they are in the pros, that's what I really focus on. And that's why I got my eyes on this one guy. I don't know if it'll happen. I would like it to happen. I just don't know if it would happen. T-Bomb 322 says, we are in need to actually pick up a run stop or so. Would you take Lee Hunter or would you take that kid from Ohio? Okay. Now, you guys in the chat, go ahead and comment on any of these topics that come up about draft. Let me know what you think, which guys you think are the best. So that's just what, like I said, you guys know more about the draft than I do. I'm more focused on NFL and that kind of thing. Not that I don't care about it. It's just I don't follow it as closely as I do the NFL. So you guys, I trust your knowledge. Like I said, you guys are very knowledgeable in the chat, and that's why the chat is very, very instrumental to the show. Absolutely. Jimin 819 says, Bill, it's good to see you solo again. Thank you so much. Thank you so appreciate it. I appreciate being solo. However, I do miss Spence here, giving his side of it and kind of keeping me in line and things like that. But yeah, I really do appreciate you guys' support. I haven't been solo in a little over a year. It was January of 2025 that Spence came on. So it's been a little over a year. But, just like riding a bike, man, I just got my feet underneath me and just doing what I did before Spence came on board. But thank you so much for that compliment, man. Really do appreciate it, Jim. And thank you so much. Madungus says Emmett Johnson reminds me a lot of TD. Okay. Well, hey, if he reminds you of TD, then I would take the guy. I would take, because I love TD, man. TD is my favorite running back of all time. In my opinion, it took him way, way, way too long to make it to the Hall of Fame. Way too long. I mean, if Walter Payton can get in there and never been to a Super Bowl. Well, Walter Payton? Is that Walter? No, not Walter Payton. Who am I thinking of? The guy from Brian's song. Who is that guy from Brian's song? God, who is that? Chicago Bears. Come on. Gale Sayers. If Gale Sayers can make it to the Hall of Fame long before, he only played 5 years in the league, and so Terrell Davis, and yet it took Terrell Davis, like forever to get in the Hall of Fame. And yet, Gale Sayers makes it for basically first ballot. If it wasn't first ballot, he was right there. He didn't have a 2,000-yard rushing season. He never made it to Super Bowl. He never won league MVP. He never won Super Bowl MVP because I didn't get there. Terrell Davis did, and it took him forever to get in the Hall of Fame. That was absolutely preposterous. Absolutely preposterous and a slap in the face. Thank goodness TD is in the Hall, but he should have been in there as a first ballot Hall of Fame. In my opinion, no questions asked. No questions asked. They should have been first ballot Hall of Fame whatsoever. Absolutely. All right. You guys are going to wear me out, man. You guys are going to wear me out. Let's see. Big E Broncos says Harvey had the third most drops on this team this past season. I understand he's a running back, but he's got to get better hands. Okay. I would agree with that. Yeah. Well, I mean, if that's the case, then you don't put him in a little screen pass kind of thing. Put him in as a decoy, have two backs back there, have RJ Harvey and Dobbins back there, or Harvey and McLaughlin, somebody else like that, and use him as a decoy. Fake it to him, throw a swing, whatever you got to do. Make up different plays. Do something that benefits the player and to his strengths, and not just well, I'm going to swing it to RJ Harvey because he's got to learn how to catch. Well, if he's not that good out of it, then quit trying. You know, I mean, you bang your head against the wall. After a while, you stop doing it because it's not working, for one, and two, it hurts. And when he drops passes like that, it hurts. So you just got to stop, man. You got to stop doing what doesn't work. Absolutely doesn't work. Okay. Let's see. Well, the chat's just blowing up, man. Love it. Love it. T-Bomb B322 says Walter Payton was with the 85 Bears. That was sweetness. He did not win a Super Bowl. Okay. 85 Bears. Walter Payton. No, I'm talking about Gale Sayers. Gale Sayers was in the movie and real life Brian Piccolo. Gale Sayers and Brian Piccolo of the Bears. So that's what I was referring to. That he never got to the Super Bowl. That's what I was referring to in comparison to Terrell Davis. And T-Bomb also follows up by saying, yeah, but Jim Brown never made it to the Super Bowl, and he is still considered one of the greatest ever. True. I'm not saying, okay, guys, I'm not saying it's because Terrell Davis won a Super Bowl. I'm saying, how does somebody get into the Hall of Fame faster with doing less than what Terrell Davis did? Gale Sayers never made it to the Super Bowl, never was a league MVP, never won a Super Bowl MVP, and never rushed for 2,000 yards. Terrell Davis did all of those things, and yet took Terrell Davis forever and a day to make it to the Hall of Fame when Gale Sayers basically was a shoe-in right out of the gate. I don't understand. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand why it took TD so long to get into the Hall of Fame when Gale Sayers was basically handed the golden keys as soon as he told, as soon as he announced, his retirement. Okay, here you go, Hall of Fame. It doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. It's based on criteria. It's based on performance and all of that. I get it. And back in the day, okay, that's what he did back in the day. But Terrell Davis did a heck of a lot more at the same amount of years. 5 years in the league is all it was. Sure, Terrell Davis played a couple more years after that, but you can't say and add that to what he did in 5 years. You can't say, well, he declined. Well, yeah, he had a torn ACL, guys. Come on. I mean, anyways, I could toot that horn all night long. We'd just be spinning our wheels, guys. All right. Okay. We gotta keep moving on topics, but you guys are fantastic. Love it, man. Brad H says, out of all the Super Bowl victories that the Broncos played in, which one was the sweetest? In my opinion, you're asking me? Okay. In my opinion, which one was the sweetest? Absolutely no doubt about it. Super Bowl 32. Why? For two reasons. One, because it was the Broncos were 11.5-point underdogs to the defending Super Bowl champion Green Bay Packers. Okay? 11.5-point underdog. Nobody's given Denver a chance in where to win. John Elway had lost previous Super Bowls big time to the Giants, to the Redskins, to the 49ers, the worst defeat in Super Bowl history, 55-10. Think they're giving Broncos any chance at Super Bowl 32? No, not a chance at all. And the second reason, because it was a Broncos' first Super Bowl championship. That it was by far the sweetest one I've ever experienced. I'll go back and watch Super Bowl 32 long before I'll watch Super Bowl 50. And the last one of the three would be Super Bowl 33. Why? Because the Falcons had no chance. They had Dan Reeves as their head coach. The Falcons were a mess. They never should have been in that Super Bowl. Should have been the Vikings. Should have been the Broncos and the Vikings in Super Bowl 33, except the Vikings don't know how to make a field goal. So had the Vikings and the Broncos been in Super Bowl 33, I don't think Denver wins that game. I really don't think Denver wins that game. The Vikings were 15-1 that year. They were on fire. They were a steamroller of a team that year. They just don't know how to make a field goal when it counts. Atlanta did. Atlanta goes to the Super Bowl, and Denver blows the doors off them. So that's my third favorite of the three Super Bowls. My second one, obviously Super Bowl 50, Peyton Manning, but Von Miller single-handedly won that game. Von Miller single-handedly won that game. But my favorite, since you asked, my sweetest overall number one Super Bowl the Broncos have won, Super Bowl 32. Terrell Davis goes out with a migraine in the third quarter, comes back, still rushes for 175 yards. Could have gone easily over 200. Super Bowl MVP. Broncos win that game. Yeah. Thanks for bringing back those memories, man. Oh my gosh, was that? Oh, that was golly. And now you got me wanting to watch it later tonight after the show's over. Now you got me wanting to watch that game all over again. Oh man, that was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely one of the great. What if not the greatest Broncos game clutch? I mean, down, not down, but underdog 11.5 points. Terrell Davis just going crazy, and just the running game. Oh yeah, that was a fantastic year. Absolutely no doubt about it. Clayton Huron, he says, hey guys. I say, hey, what's up, Clayton? Instead of guys, it's hey guy, because Spence is on assignment. He is at the Genesis Invitational up there in LA, and he volunteers. He does it every year. He's been doing it since, I think he said 2010. And he's been doing like 16 years. He's the director of one of the things that the guys do when they carry those, player, I forget what he called it. But what, it tells where the players, who's in first, or what the score is of the players that they're following. So he's the director of all that. So that's why he's not here tonight. Clayton follows up by saying, smash that like button and share, guys. Absolutely. No doubt about it. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate it, Clayton. Brad H said, that was my first Super Bowl, and knew right then and there I was a Broncos fan. Talking about Super Bowl 32. Absolutely. Fantastic Super Bowl. One of the best ever, in my opinion. Not just because it was the Broncos winning it, but one of the best ever. Absolutely one of the best. Let's see. All right, let's get to the next topic. And here it is. PJ Locke is coming off of a 2025 season where he went from being an undrafted rookie in 2019 to being a key special teams player and rotational defensive back from 2020 to 2022, and an 8-game fill-in starter in 2023. Locke told the Denver Gazette the following, and I quote, I obviously want to be here. I want to be back here. I would be willing to take a pay cut in 2026. I would love to retire as a Bronco, but I just got to see how it works out. End quote. Okay. So he understands the business game, where he may not get re-signed. He's a free agent. He may not get re-signed to stay with the Broncos. He wants to stay here, just like Harvey wants to stay here. I mean, not Harvey. Dobbins wants to stay here. But it's a game, not a game. I'm sorry. It's a business. It's a business of the game. That's for sure. And he wants to stay. But do the Broncos want to keep PJ Locke? That's the difference. And he has said he wants to retire as a Denver Bronco. He loves it in Denver. Question is, do the Denver Broncos love him as much as he loves them? Now, if he's willing to take a pay cut, well, then it's a win-win, because he's willing to take a pay cut to stay in Denver, and Denver saves money moving forward. Would it be a 1-year contract, 2 years? We don't know. But if he's willing to take a pay cut, that means he really wants to stay here. Really wants to stay here. I say, if I'm the general manager, if I'm George Paton, I'm taking a long look at that and say, okay, how serious are you about staying here? Now, don't undermine him, George. Don't undermine him, and don't cut the legs out from him and say, okay, well, we'll sign you for, minimum. No, don't do that. Make it fair. Just don't elevate it. But if he's willing to take a pay cut and you drop it down, maybe 3 or 4 million, okay. then maybe he's willing to do that. Maybe backload it, backload at the end where let's say he's making 30, let's just say 30 million. I don't know. I'm just throwing a number out there. Let's say he's making 30 million a year and you drop it to 25. Okay. Now the other 5 million, you put it at the back end of the contract. So he's 25, 25, and then 35 or 40, whatever it is. Okay. You can backload it. You don't have to front load it, but you can backload it, or you can do both. But if he's willing to take a pay cut, give the guy that opportunity to stay in Denver. If you really think he's worth staying here. I mean, there's only so many players you can have active on any given Sunday. So is PJ Locke a casualty? Is JK Dobbins a casualty? I hope neither one of them is. I really do hope neither one of them is. Okay. Clayton Huron talking about PJ Locke says, I think a 3-year deal. There you go. I would welcome it. And like I said, if he's willing to take a pay cut, then you got to entertain that, because that means he's dedicated and wants to stay here. And if he's dedicated and wants to stay in Denver, it's a win-win. It's a win-win for the team. It's a win-win for him. And if the ownership and the GM and the coach show him love, then he's going to put everything he possibly can into making whatever is asked of him to do on the field. He's going to try and elevate that as best as he can. And that's exactly what it's exactly what, like I said, that's exactly what the Broncos would want. It's exactly what he would want. So there you go. Chewy Raider coverage. What is up? So what's up, brother? Hey man, what's happening? I'm glad you're in the house. We got some Raider. We got a Raider topic coming up here right after the next topic, which is about a Broncos. Well, not a Broncos, but a hire that the Denver Broncos made. And hey, if it's what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And the Buffalo Bills have been, quote, fleecing the Broncos' former head coaches. Well, guess what? Denver decided to do the same, but not a former coach of the Bills, but a current one. Here it is. The Denver Broncos have hired Ronald Curry as the receivers coach per Zach Stevens of DNVR. Curry has spent the past 2 years as the Bills quarterback coach. That was a dagger in the back of Josh Allen, because now he doesn't have the quarterback coach that he had for the last 2 years. Let me continue. Curry also was on Sean Payton's offensive staff in New Orleans from 2016 to 2022. Now he reunites with Payton in Denver. Take that, Buffalo. Take that. So not only did we beat you in the playoffs, but now we took your quarterbacks coach and made him our defensive. Did I say what was it? Made him our what did I say it was going to be? Receivers coach. So now we made him our receivers coach. So Josh Allen doesn't have him in Buffalo anymore. So they got to scramble and find somebody new to fill the spot. And now Denver gets their receivers coach. Why? Because their receivers coach went where? How about to the Vegas Raiders? We lost our receiving coach to the Raiders. Buffalo Bills lost their quarterbacks coach to the Broncos as our receivers. Guy, it's like dominoes. It's like checkers. I mean, you move this piece, you jump that piece, you jump that piece. Now we take your guys, and that's crazy, man. The offseason in the NFL is nuts. It's nuts. Okay. Going back to the Locke topic. Jimin says, I don't think we re-signed PJ Locke. Okay. Maybe not. But like I said, if he's willing to take a pay cut, you have to at least look into it. You have to at least see if it's worth keeping him at a lower salary. You know, it's just one of those things. It's a business. I know, guys, it's a business. It's a tough business. It really is. Any sports team is tough business. You know, I mean, one minute you can be on a winning team and be MVP of a Super Bowl. Ooh, we're gonna get into that topic. We're gonna get into that topic down the road. But you never know. 1 minute, everybody loves you. Next minute, you're being traded or you're being cut. It's just the nature of the game, man. Nature of the game. Megan Sam Miller says Curry better teach catching the ball. Yeah, no kidding, huh? No freaking kidding. Absolutely. And that doesn't just go, we're not picking on RJ Harvey, although he's got some, you know, some hands that just don't seem to catch the ball. But some of our receivers just weren't catching the ball either. So I don't know if it's the fact that they just, you know, just don't have the hands to catch. I don't. I'm not saying that. Maybe they hear footsteps. Maybe they don't want to get hit. Maybe it's psychological. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. But you know, whatever it is, they got to fix it. They have to fix it, because if your receivers can't catch the ball, then all you're going to be doing is running, and the defense is just going to shut that down. No questions asked. They're just going to shut that thing down like Fort Knox. So there you go. Clayton Huron says, I love that hire, talking about Curry. I do too. I like it. I mean, look what he did in Buffalo as a quarterbacks coach. If he can, you know, if he can teach the receivers how to catch, you know, hopefully that works to our benefit. Obviously works to our benefit. Ty Eagles, what is up? He's in the house. He says, hello. I said, what's up? How do I really feel about Sean Payton coaching next season? I feel great about him coaching, as long as he doesn't call plays. And that's why we got Davis Webb. If Davis Webb is calling the plays, Davis Webb was a quarterback's coach, I believe it was a quarterback coach, and take Bo Nix under his wing and give him the plays and make the plays a little simpler when they come in. I mean, Sean Payton has verbiage that's about a mile long when he tells, you know, brings in the play or sends in the play, and it just takes forever to get to Bo Nix, and Bo Nix has to spit it out and say it in the huddle. It just takes way too long. If Dennis Webb is calling the plays, I dare say he will shorten it. Not shorten the play per se, but shorten how it's relayed to the headset and in the helmet of Bo Nix. That's the key. That's the key. Bo Nix has to get these play calls within 15 to 18 seconds prior to getting to the line, because he has to look at the defense. He has to analyze the defense. He has to call an audible per se. Maybe he has to put a guy in motion, or he has to put a running back in motion, whatever. And that takes precious seconds. And you cannot have the play call come in at 10 seconds or less and expect the play to get off. It's just not going to happen. So I say I have no problem with Sean Payton's coaching next season. Don't call the freaking plays. Send that to Davis Webb. Let Davis Webb call the plays. Sean Payton get back and just be a head coach, not an offensive coordinator. Don't call the plays. Let your young buck do it. Okay? Just saying. I know, Sean. I know you're a type A and you want to just run the whole show. I got it. I get it. Step back. Okay? Trust your guys. Trust the guys to do the job that you hired them to do. You elevated Davis Webb to offensive coordinator. Let him be the offensive coordinator, play caller. Don't feel like you have to be everything. You're a head coach. Coach and manage, so to speak, all the other coaches. Okay? Hand the play call over to Webb, and everybody in Broncos country will thank you for it down the road. Guaranteed. Okay. Ty Eagle follows up, says, would you like to see Tyreek Hill in Denver? Absolutely not. No. Yes, he's a great player. I'll give you that. No doubt about it. But he brings baggage. He brings things that we don't need in Denver. He brings negative baggage, off-field baggage. We don't need that. We don't need that in Denver. We don't want that in Denver. Does that mean that he's not a great athlete and he wouldn't help the Broncos? Possibly. But I don't want to I don't want to bring him in and have him part of the team with that negative baggage hanging over his head, because that's only going to be a cancer in the locker room and around the guys we have now. No, we have a great chemistry now. I don't want the fly in the ointment, and I don't want the arsenic in the pudding, so to speak. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. So to answer your question, no, I don't want him in Denver. Is he a good receiver? Yes. Is he dynamic on the punt return, kickoff return? Absolutely. I don't want it in Denver because I don't want the baggage that it comes with. That's all I'm saying. I don't want the baggage that it comes with. That's it. That's the main sole reason. Mega Sam Miller says Bo would have had a 70% completion percentage if the receivers didn't drop passes. Okay, I'll give you that. But then you could say that about any quarterback. You just go down the list of any quarterback with drop passes, especially not so much just the drop passes, but drop passes in key situations, touchdowns, first downs, keeping the drive alive on a third down, making clutch catches in traffic. That kind of thing. That's what you need. And I mean, sure, they're going to drop passes. Nobody's perfect. Defenders are going to cause receivers to drop passes just by their defense. I mean, look at PS2. He causes defenders to drop passes all the time. Why? Because he's that freaking good. So it's going to happen. It's the passes that they should catch, the wide open passes, the passes in the end zone where they're wide open, or even if it's contested, you got to go up and make an effort, that kind of thing. Do I expect them to make 80, 90% of the catches or throws that are thrown that way? It all depends. Is it 50-50 ball? Then perhaps not. That's why it's called 50-50. Is it wide open? Then yes, they should make the catch. Madunga says if it hits their hands, regardless whether they have to jump 10 feet in the air, they should make the catch. I disagree. Some catches are impossible to make. It all depends on the athlete. Some athletes can make that one-handed catch. Some athletes can't. Some receivers can't. So it all depends on their availability, or their ability to be that athlete. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody is I don't know, name a player. Not everybody is Walter Payton. Not everybody's a Terrell Davis. Not everybody is John Elway. Not everybody is Roger Staubach. I mean, not everybody can do what anybody else can do. They make it look like they can, but not everybody can. Okay? It's just the nature of the game. Not everybody is exactly like everybody else. Otherwise, it'd be like a video game. Isn't it kind of like it is now? Somewhat. Anyways. All right. Ty Eagle says, I wish AJ would leave the Eagles, but I don't think so. And I agree with you. All right. Thank you so much for saying that. For agreeing with me. I don't have too many people who do agree with me from time to time, but it is always nice to have people who do agree with me. I appreciate that. Thanks. Hey, disagreeing is fine. We can all agree to disagree. It's totally fine. Ty Eagle says, will Bo be ready? He will be ready. The surgery went well. They say that he should be back maybe for off season. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Does that mean the OTAs? Does that mean the start of training camp? I'm not sure what that means, but all indication points towards the fact that he will be ready. So hopefully that's the case, because I'll tell you what, we really need him, man. We really need him, as we saw in the playoffs. So we really need that. Mega Sam Miller says Chris Carter didn't drop many passes. Again, Chris Carter was an exceptional athlete. exceptional athlete. The guy, Chris Carter with the Vikings, amazing. Just amazing receiver. Great athlete. But yeah, you're right. He didn't drop many passes. But then again, think about it. Where were the passes thrown? Were they thrown on the money by the quarterback? Most likely, yes. And that also helps out the receiver. Is it a 50-50 ball? Do they have to always jump? Do they have to lunge? Do they have to dive? Is it down low by their knees, by their ankles? All that comes into play. And again, if the receiver puts his hands on the ball, should he always catch it? No, he should not always catch it. That's not going to happen. No receiver in an entire career has had 100% catching rate. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. Elements take shape. It could be raining. It could be snowing. It could be bitterly cold. It could be sun in your eyes. A lot of things happen that cause things to not go the way they should go. So, I mean, yeah, Chris Carter was a phenomenal receiver. But again, how were the passes thrown? They're thrown accurately, on target, out in front where he can make the catch, he can run into it, that kind of thing, wide open. All that comes into play. All right, moving on. Raiders topic. This is for Chewy. Here we go, Chewy. Here it is. Clint Kubiak, head coach of the Raiders, continues to take former Broncos coaches. Kubiak has hired Zach Azani as the team's new receivers coach. Azani coached the Broncos receivers from 2018 to 2022. Azani has also spent time with the Jets and the Steelers. This is the fourth coach Kubiak has hired with Broncos ties. The other three are Mike McCoy, Joe Camillus, and Rick Dennison. Enough is enough, Kubiak. Enough is enough. All right? You got four of our former Broncos coaches. You can stop fleecing them now. Okay? Just saying. I know the Raiders want to have competition with the Broncos. I know the Raiders want to be competitive in the division. Okay? Why not get some Kansas City Chiefs former coaches? Why not? Well, I can understand why you don't get Chargers coaches. Okay? But the point is, quit taking Broncos coaches. But then again, that's a compliment because that means you realize those coaches are really good. Now, having Clint Kubiak as a Raiders head coach and the former Broncos Super Bowl 50 winning head coach, his dad, Gary Kubiak, is Gary going to mingle in the Raiders organization with Clint being his son and head coach? No. Gary already said he's stepping back. He's not going to, that's his son. He said, this is your show now, boy. This is your son. I mean, this is your job. I'm not going to mingle. I'm not going to suggest something. If you call me up and we talk and things like that, yeah, sure, we'll talk. But I'm not going to tell you how to do your job. You're ready for it? You're ready to go. But Gary, do us a favor. Tell your son to quit hiring former Broncos coaches. Okay? Tell him to quit hiring former Broncos coaches. Because we know Rick Dennison's good. And we know that Mike McCoy's good. And we know that who's the other one? Camillus is good. So that obviously makes the Raiders that much better. Are they going to be competitive and fight for the division? Who knows? Who knows? We do have the strength of schedule topic coming up towards the end. You guys want to stick around for that. Find out where the Raiders' strength of schedule is, where the Broncos and the Chiefs and the Chargers is, amongst others. But do the Raiders all of a sudden become better because they have Clint Kubiak and three former Bronco coaches? Absolutely. No doubt about it. And they have the first overall draft pick. And we all know where that's going to go. So do they instantaneously become better? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I still don't know where they would finish in the AFC West. Is it still going to be the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Chargers, and Raiders? Don't know. Don't know. I dare say the Raiders most likely will not be in the basement. Who would I like to see in the basement? I think you guys all know me way too well to know who I'd like to see in the basement. Starts with a C, and it's not the Cubs. It's not the Chiefs. Chargers. That's who I'd like to see in the basement. Anyways, okay. me get to the chat real quick before we get to another topic. Let's see. Ty Eagle says, do you think Seattle will return next season? In other words, return to Super Bowl? Well, Vegas is giving them as the favorite, the odds-on favorite to get back to the Super Bowl and possibly win it. Of course, they all say that with reigning Super Bowl champions. Why? Because they're reigning Super Bowl champions. You know, unless they completely, you know, their team completely leaves them, you know, players leave and, you know, free agency and that kind of thing. But no, as far as them getting back to the Super Bowl, every indication is pointing that direction. But then you got the Rams as well. You got the Eagles. I don't see the Eagles and the Rams taking a turn for the worst. I mean, you got the Packers there. You got the Bears. Lions kind of fell off last year. Vikings really don't know which direction they're going. They can't seem to figure out who their quarterback is. And we're getting into a topic. That's the very next topic. JJ McCarthy can't stay healthy. So they're kind of a mess right now. I mean, you got Tampa Bay, but they're really not anything to write home about. So right now, it just looks like it's Seattle, Rams. 49ers had a lot of injuries. I mean, they could be on the rise, but you got Seattle, you got the Rams, you got the Eagles, you got the Bears. Packers were in the mix. Hey, it's up for grabs. It really is up for grabs because of the schedule. I mean, granted, you got to play who's on your list to play, but some of these games, some of these teams are going to have schedules are going to be tough. Broncos schedule is really tough. Why? Because they won the AFC West and were the AFC. They played for the AFC Championship, so they're not an easy schedule. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. Hang on, let me get out of there. Paul Shatter says, "What's up, Bronco Bill?" I said, "What's up, Paul?" And everybody that's just jumping in, joining the chat. You're wondering where Spence is, Kona Spence. He is at the Genesis Invitational. He's a volunteer. He's a director for one of the things there that they do at the tournament, at the PGA tournament. And he is there as we speak. He said that if he gets everything wrapped up in time, he will try and jump on for the last 10, 15 minutes of the show. Hopefully, he said it lasts until about 6:30, which undoubtedly it looks like it will. So, he said he'd like to jump on here in the last 10, 15 minutes and give his comments as well. So yeah, but that's the reason why I'm doing solo today is because, like I said, he is on assignment with the PGA Tour on the Genesis Invitational Golf Tournament. All right. Let's see. Ooh, Ty Eagle comes back and says KC will take over the AFC West. Okay, well, that is to be determined because we don't know how Patrick Mahomes is going to come back from that torn ACL. Now, players do come back from torn ACL. There's no doubt about that. But as a quarterback and you plant and you turn and you twist and he likes to run and all that, I just don't know if he's going to be the Patrick Mahomes that would always run and try to elude, make ridiculous throws that were ridiculously good. Is he going to be able to do all of that coming off of a torn ACL? That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. So that'll be something to be seen for sure. Mega Sam Miller says, going back to will Seattle return to the Super Bowl? He follows up by saying it depends on how many free agents the Seahawks lose. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. And that goes with any Super Bowl team. You can't keep, any championship team for that matter, baseball, football, hockey, basketball. You're not guaranteed to keep everybody because you can't afford them. I mean, they've got contracts that are expiring, and now because they won a Super Bowl, they want bank. They want the Fort Knox vault. That's what they want. And you can't blame them. I mean, you really can't blame them. I mean, they're champions and they're trying to go out there and see what they can get. Somebody's willing to pay them, then that's where they're going to go because they already got the ring. They already got the ring. They already got the championship. They're already, on that trophy for life. So there you go. There you go. Would I do the same thing? Probably. It all depends. I mean, It all depends on how badly you want to stay with that team, how much you like the guys you're playing with. Then you know what? You got to take care of your family. You got to take care of your future. And money talks. Money does talk. Absolutely. It talks in any job. Seriously, talks in any job. Megan Sam Miller came back and said the Chiefs have big roster problems. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Broncos have some issues too they got to deal with, Okay. Excuse me. Ty Eagle comes back and said, Mr. Bill, you are great. Take care. Take care, guys. Like and subscribe. Absolutely. Ty Eagles, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for your compliment. Really do appreciate it. Means a lot. It really does mean a lot. I do my best. I do my homework. I research a lot of things, and I'm just bringing my comments. Just like I said to you guys at the beginning of the show, and at every show, it's my comments, and when Spencer's here, it's his comments, and it's your comments in the chat. We will always get to the chat. Always. Why? Because without you guys, I might as well be talking to the wall. And I don't feel that way with you guys. I feel like I know you. I feel like you're part of the show. You're absolutely part of the show. You are the main part of the show. Like I've said, you are the backbone of the show. Guys, really do appreciate it. Ty Eagles, thank you once again for your generous comments. Really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. Speaking of problems in the Minnesota Vikings camp, here we go. The Minnesota Vikings have a quarterback issue with JJ McCarthy not being able to stay on the field. Adam Farrell of the NFL has said the Vikings and Colts have the framework for an Anthony Richardson trade. He feels this will happen for the 2026 NFL season. Oh my gosh. Is Richardson the answer in Minnesota? My opinion, absolutely not. He's not the answer in Minnesota. But is JJ McCarthy the answer in Minnesota? Obviously not. Not recently. Ever since they drafted McCarthy, the same year they drafted Bo Nix, right before the Broncos drafted Bo Nix, the Vikings took JJ McCarthy. I'll bet you everything in the world they wish they could go back and redo that. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. JJ McCarthy can't stay healthy. The backups they have are not legit, obviously. And they got rid of Sam Darnold. And where did Sam Darnold end up? Oh, that's right. In the playoffs. Deep in the playoffs. And a Super Bowl championship in Seattle. Was that a mistake? No wonder the Vikings fired their general manager several weeks ago. No wonder they fired him. Because those were bonehead mistakes. Bonehead mistakes. You get rid of Sam Darnold after the Vikings were in the playoffs with a 14-3 record? I believe. 13-4, 14-3, something like that. Went to the playoffs. Granted, they didn't go to the Super Bowl, but they were in the playoffs. They weren't in the playoffs this year. And Sam Darnold was not only in the playoffs, he was in the Super Bowl. And the Vikings got rid of him, let him go. He goes to Seattle, wins the Super Bowl, and the Vikings are treading water and sinking rapidly in that Viking ship because JJ McCarthy can't stay healthy. And they drafted him ahead of Bo Nix, who I know for a fact they wish they had gone for Bo Nix instead of JJ McCarthy. Thank goodness the Vikings took McCarthy so that we could take Bo Nix. Now, did Bo Nix get hurt in the playoffs? Yes. But I'll tell you what, I'd rather have a Bo Nix coming off of a broken ankle than a torn ACL. That's for sure. I think that's what McCarthy had with torn ACL, I believe. He was injured the first year. That was 2 years ago. He was injured this past year. Every time he comes on the field, they take him off. He can't stay on. I'll tell you what, there are some major problems in Minnesota. And it all started with the general manager getting rid of Sam Darnold. That was a catastrophic bonehead move. Catastrophic bonehead move. And now the Vikings are reeling because of that. And they're also reeling because of the draft pick that they got in JJ McCarthy. I hope McCarthy comes back. I hope he comes back. I hope he can stay on the field. I hope he does well. The Vikings are my NFC team. But I'll tell you what, they have some major issues. Major issues. And I don't think the Vikings will, but I would dare say if they're smart, they would go after quarterback in this draft. Why? Because of JJ McCarthy. That's why. And because of the backups they have now. Either that or bring Kirk Cousins back, because Kirk Cousins is a free agent. We'll get into that as well. Kirk Cousins is a free agent. I say bring him back. If for no other reason, because he knows the Vikings and he's a veteran. I say bring him back. Okay? That's what I say. All right. Next topic. The Kansas City Chiefs have restructured quarterback Patrick Mahomes' contract for this season. That clears out $43.56 million in cap space. Mahomes' cap number went from $78.2 million to $34.65 million after the move. Why did they restructure? Because Kansas City has issues. They need to sign players. They need to bring players in. They have they had cap space hell, so to speak, because they didn't have anywhere they could go. And Travis Kelce, if he retires, which nobody thinks he will, but if he does retire, then they need to get a tight end. And that's going to cost money, whether it's in a trade or a draft. I mean, draft's not going to cost as much as a trade, but who are they going to bring in? They have issues. They have issues at wide receiver. They have issues at running back. They have issues at in their defense, and they have issues in their offensive line, and they have issues possibly at tight end if Travis Kelce calls it a career. So was that a smart move by Kansas City? Absolutely. But it only said for this coming season. Does that mean it's backloaded? Does that mean his salary goes back up? Didn't say. It just says they restructured it for this year. So not sure if that means going forward stays that way or just exactly what the deal is. But bottom line is Kansas City was not happy by not winning division that they're so used to. So they made moves, and they're going to continue to make moves so that they can get back into that winning column as far as winning the AFC West. And they obviously want to get back into playoffs and all that because they missed the playoffs this year. That hadn't happened in 10 years. So they are not happy. But now they are because they restructured and now they have the resources that they need to move forward. Okay, so we talked about the Raiders and getting former Bronco coaches and Clint Kubiak as our head coach. We talked about the Chiefs making moves and getting out of cap space hell. Chargers we didn't talk about because they didn't really do anything. And the Denver Broncos, we talked about them making moves, and there are some other possible moves coming up. But before that, we have a former Bronco released by the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins have released linebacker Bradley Chubb per ESPN. Chubb missed all of 2024, but last season he played all 17 games and recorded a team-high 8.5 sacks. Should the Broncos bring Bradley Chubb back to Denver? Well, my answer is most likely not. Why? Well, they're not bringing back Von Miller. And Von Miller was very instrumental, obviously, in the Broncos winning Super Bowl 50. But that was 10 years ago. Bradley Chubb, well, he's getting long in the tooth, so to speak, as far as NFL age goes. But would the Broncos be beneficial, or would they benefit, I should say, to bring in a Bradley Chubb? Why not? Why not give him a look-see? I don't know why the Broncos are not bringing or even looking at Von Miller. Von Miller has said many, many times he would love to come back to Denver. He loves Denver. He wants to come back to Denver. Denver is his passion. He still talks about the Broncos as him being on the team. He keeps saying we. talks about the Broncos. He even says that when the team that he's on, whatever team that is, whether it be the Rams or the Buffalo Bills, when those teams aren't playing, the team that he's on, he watches Broncos games. Why? Because he said he still feels he's a member of the Denver Broncos. His heart is in Denver. Why they won't bring Von Miller back, I have no idea. I have no idea why they won't. So if they're not going to bring back a Von Miller, why would they bring back a Bradley Chubb? Now, I'm throwing this out there to guys in the chat. Do you guys think that who would you rather have back if you could only take one of them? Von Miller or Bradley Chubb? I say, why not bring Von Miller back? Bradley Chubb, okay, they got rid of him for a reason. I don't think they necessarily got rid of Von Miller for a reason. I just think that they went into a different direction, which I don't understand. But I'm not pervious to those conversations behind closed doors. So that I don't know. But Mega Sam Miller says no to Chubb. Okay. All right. And my question to you then, Mega, is why not Bradley Chubb? Would he not be an asset? Would he not be instrumental? He had 8.5 sacks in Miami. Miami's not really known for their great defense. So 8.5 sacks is nothing to shake a stick at. So, I would say, why not Bradley Chubb? And then he follows it up by saying Von Miller had 8 sacks last year. Okay, there you go. So, I say either one of these guys could make an impact. But Von Miller and Bradley Chubb are long in the tooth. Yes, by NFL standards, they're long in the tooth. They're not young bucks anymore. They're not in their early to mid 20s. That's for sure. But they have veteran leadership. They have what it takes to, maybe not Bradley Chubb, but Von Miller has what it takes to win championships. He won a Super Bowl with the Broncos. He won a Super Bowl with the Rams. He was on the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they win a championship. Buffalo has never won a championship. But he has the experience of what it takes to get to Super Bowl and to win the Super Bowl. So would I welcome a Von Miller? Absolutely. Absolutely would welcome a Von Miller. Holy smokes. Look who showed up. Spence is in the house.
So just jumping in for this topic quickly, then I've got to do one quick errand, and then I'll be back. Look, I would love to have Von Miller come back to the Broncos.
Thanks for showing up. I needed a drink.
I spoke about this during last offseason because this would be a great opportunity for Von Miller to, one, close out his career on the right note, but two, pass on the wisdom and the knowledge he has to a younger generation. And three, it's an opportunity to show Coach Payton and the league he has the ability to be a no makeup. Good Lord, Spencer, you look rough. Yes, Paul Shedder, I'm working the golf tournament here at Riviera. I'm beaten up, but the thing about Von Miller is he's got the knowledge, he's got the wisdom, he could pass it on, and this is a chance for him to be a player coach. Mm-hmm. And I would love I think the Bronco brass wants to bring him in and wants to give him that wisdom. This is a little bit of the possible arrogant side from Coach Payton that I question a little bit. This is by
the way, Paul Shatter said, "Just kidding." No, you're not kidding. He looks like he looks beaten down. He looks beaten down.
I'm looking beaten down here. So I got to minutes, but I just wanted to jump in on this topic.
Okay. All right, man. I'll see you in a bit. All right. That was great, man. That was good. Good insight on that. That's good stuff, man. Let's see. Paul Shatter says Vaughn is begging to come back. When we traded Vaughn, I had to sit down because I was stunned. I was too. I was totally stunned. Now, and Mega follows that up by saying Vaughn's only good in obvious pass situations. Okay, so you bring him on certain packages. You put him, you bring him onto the team, and like Spence said, he can be a player coach, so to speak. He can mentor these guys. Like I said earlier before Spence came on, he can be there as a leader. What it takes to win in this league, what it takes to be at your best. So yes, I agree. Bring Vaughn back. I don't know why they have not entertained it. I don't know what the deal is. Like I said, Vaughn is begging to come back. Like Paul Shatter said, Vaughn is begging to come back. And I don't know what the deal is as to why the Broncos won't bring him back or haven't brought him back. I don't get it. I absolutely don't get it. All right. Speaking of running backs that the Broncos and free agents that the Broncos could bring in, this one here is very, very key. And I'm going to ask every one of you in the chat, who would you like to see? Who would you like, not who would you like to see, but would you like to see this particular player on the Broncos? And here it is. After the Seahawks and their Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker, held up the Lombardi Trophy, Seattle made it known they weren't going to franchise tag Walker, who becomes a free agent. Does Denver strike and go after him? I say 1,000% yes. Do it. Now, some people are going to say, well, wait a minute. He wasn't really all that instrumental, all that great in the regular season. Doesn't matter. It's what you do in the playoffs. It's what you do when it really, really counts. Was he performing well when it really counted in the season? Yes, he did. Is he your boss hog, so to speak? Is he your bell cow? 30 carries a game? Probably not. But you don't need him. If we get Walker and we have JK Dobbins and RJ Harvey and McLaughlin, come on, guys. Seriously? We can put these guys in and out at will. We can have Walker in there along with Harvey, make it a two back backfield. We can have Walker and Dobbins. I mean, it's a 1-2 punch. If you have it that way, it makes it much more difficult for the defense to figure out what the heck you're doing. Okay? It's common sense. But what price is Walker going to want? Is Walker going to want to break the bank? And Denver's like, no, we're not going down that road. We're not doing that. And if that's the case, do the Broncos break the bank? Whoa. Didn't we do that to a guy from Seattle several years ago? Yes, we did. Yes, I see Spence in the back. He's not on. He's in the green room, but I can see him. He's going crazy. Yes, we did. Do we take that chance again with the same team? A different player, of course. The same team? I don't know. But I would love to have Walker on the team. Why? Well, for two reasons. One, he's a Super Bowl MVP. He rushed for 130 some. I think he was the second most rushes or rushing yards in a Super Bowl behind Terrell Davis's 175. So, yeah, but is the dollar figure too high for the Broncos to bite on? That's the bottom line. That's really the bottom line. Is it too high? And does Denver go back into that pool against Seattle and go, you know what? Once bitten, twice shy. Burn me once, shame on you. Burn me twice, shame on me. So I don't know. Let's see. Paul Shatter says, get Walker or Breece Hall or Tyler Algier, please. Okay. Out of those three, which one would you want? Walker, Hall, or Algier? I say out of those, I'd probably take Tyler because it's probably going to be cheaper than either one of those. But is he better than Walker or Hall? That's what you got to look for. Is he better? Don't know. But I like your thinking. Mega Sam Miller says Walker's a stud. Take a shot at him. Okay. Again, is the price tag too steep? What's the price tag? We don't know. Hasn't come out yet. Thumbs up. Spence says thumbs up. Thumbs up to what?
Thumbs up. I can come back in for a few more minutes.
Nice.
But here's the thing. I heard you, and I had convulsions, and my essential tremor went off when you mentioned signing another Seattle. Yes and no. Here's the thing: you have a way to sign. You have $25 million in cap space that's available right now. Do you want to invest a substantial chunk of that on a running back who had an okay game against the Rams, an okay game in the divisional series, a great game in the Super Bowl against a beaten down New England Patriots team?
Mm-hmm.
Is he worth that investment? And does that give you the return value you need from that position? I would say buyer beware.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Paul Shatter says Seattle jinx.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yep. How about this one? What?
Go ahead.
So how about this one? Paul Shadow says, Bill, do you, and Spence, since you're here, do you think a guy like Kyle Pitts would change our offense? Algier, yes. Tyler is tougher. Which one of the two, which one do you like? Tyler's tougher.
I'd probably go with Tyler.
Yeah, okay, I would too.
I would go for Tyler. You want to build some toughness because the Broncos, look, if you guys remember, the Broncos are going to have a brutal first place schedule coming up next season. And so they're going to need to invest wisely for this off season. And me personally, I'm looking at possible good value running back, linebacker, and offensive line. And any other pieces we need, we can probably get through the draft.
Yep. Can you stick around for one more topic?
One more topic.
All right. This is a good one because this is right up your alley. All right. There are a lot of free agents hitting the market this offseason. Here are the top 25, and should Denver pursue any of them, and which ones? I'm going to read them real quick. You say yes or no. Number 25, Aaron Rodgers. I knew you'd like that one. Uh-oh.
No, you want to know something? I would pursue him to be the water boy.
There you go. All right, number 24, Packers wide receiver Romeo Dobbs. Or Romeo, I should say Romeo
Dobbs. I'm going to say no because he has that number one, I've got to have the ball mentality, and that's not something we need for the Broncos.
23, wide receiver from the 49ers, Jawan Jennings.
I would say if you can get him a good value, yes.
Okay. Steelers guard, Isaac Somalo. Do we need another guard?
Do we need another guard? I would say this, no, only because I think we need to focus our recruiting elsewhere.
Paul Shatter says Rodgers could be our guru. He could be on the what's that? The hookah or whatever thing it is, doing back in the back room somewhere.
He could be the towel boy.
There you go. Number 21, Packers offensive tackle Rashid Walker.
But is he going to be breaking the bank?
That's true. And he's only 26 years old, so he's got longevity in front of him.
Again, you can get him at a good value. It's worth the thought.
Okay. Number 20, Patriots outside linebacker, K'Lavon Chase. Okay. That's a no.
No Patriots. I don't want any Patriots.
Buccaneers cornerback, Jamal Dean.
We're okay at cornerback.
Right. Yep, I agree. Number 18, Dolphins wide receiver. This was brought up in the chat, Tyreek Hill. I said absolutely not because I don't want his baggage.
Zip zero nada. I don't want another Russell Wilson nightmare. By the way, I honestly, that injury and all the surgeries and everything, I think his career is over.
Yeah.
He's not going to be the same player.
Yeah, you're probably right. Number 17, Buccaneers wide receiver Mike Evans.
Again, he has that number. He has great ability, but he's got that number one attitude that I have to have the ball every single play.
Yeah.
I think ability-wise, yes. Attitude, not what the Broncos need.
I know this isn't going to come to Denver, but I want to know, where do you think he'll land? Number 16, Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins. Does he go back to Minnesota? Minnesota's in dire need of a quarterback, and JJ McCarthy just
True, but why would you go back to a place that dissed you?
True. Good point.
I think he'll find a landing spot somewhere. Where, I don't know.
All right.
I wouldn't, honestly, maybe Miami.
Oh, that could be a possibility. Yeah.
With the injury plague problems.
Yeah, that's a possibility. All right. Now, I'm totally 100% in favor of this one. I'm not sure if you are or not. Chargers outside linebacker Khalil Mack.
Yes.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
Okay. I agree. Jaguars, number 14, Jaguars running back Travis Etienne.
Oh, again, yes, but is he going to be asking for top dollar?
Yeah. Well, speaking of top dollar, how about number 13, Seattle running back Kenneth Walker?
Again, he's going to want to break the bank.
Yeah.
And isn't it, I think Paul Shader said Seattle curse or something like that.
Yep. Yeah, he did. Falcons tight end. Yep. Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts. We need a tight end, dude.
I know we need a tight end, but there's a few that might be coming through the draft. I think it's more of a financial. Where do you want to spend your money?
True. Number 11, Seahawks again. Wide receiver Rashid Shaheed.
Seattle Jinx. No, thank you.
Yep. Okay. Number 10, Jets running back Breece Hall.
All you have to do is say Jets. No, thank you.
Number 9, Chargers outside linebacker Odafe Owe. He had 7.5 sacks in 12 games last year.
I want to say yes, but again, is he going to break the bank?
Yeah. That's right. Number 8, Eagles defensive end Jalen Phillips. He's only 27 years old next season.
He's 27 years old, again, breaking the bank, but I think we're good at that position right now.
Okay. Number 7, quarterback Malik Willis from the Packers as a backup.
No, thank you.
Okay. Number 6, Jaguars linebacker Devin Lloyd.
Oh, I actually like him. I would say yes if you could get a good value for him, because he can cover the running back or the tight end coming out. So yeah. I would say that's a strong possibility.
Colts wide receiver Alec Pierce.
I have to be honest, I don't know much about him, so I can't say either way.
Okay. How about Colts quarterback for the Broncos, backup quarterback Daniel Jones for the Broncos?
No, well, isn't Daniel Jones going to be coming back to Indy?
I don't know. He's a free agent, so I don't know.
We don't need a starting quarterback competing right now.
That's true. Number 3, Cowboys wide receiver George Pickens.
Again, great talent, but number 1 attitude, and I have to have the ball.
25 years old.
25 years old.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. When you're talking about all these elite receivers, we signed an elite receiver in Cortland Sutton. Yeah, he did not have the greatest of year expectation-wise. So I think at the number 1 receiver slot, we're set. And you bring in someone else who wants to be a number 1, you're going to upset that chemistry.
True. Number 2, Ravens center. Do we need a center? Tyler Linderbaum.
Didn't we just sign our center to a 4-year contract?
Yep.
So I don't think we need anybody at that position.
All right. And the number 1 would be from the Bengals, defensive end Trey Hendrickson. 31 years old, though.
But isn't that an oxymoron, defense and the Bengals?
Good point. Good point, man. Well, there
I gotta wrap it up. I will talk to you guys next week. Thank you so much for being patient with me, Bill. Thank you to the chat. I appreciate you guys so much. I'll try my best to be back on the show next week. Take care, everybody.
Hey, drive safe, my friend. We'll see you next week. All right. And there he is, guys. There he is. Spence with his insight. I'm glad he was able to stick around for that one because that's one of the topics that he really, really wanted to talk about. So that's good. Paul Shadow says, we have a number talking about receivers probably. We have a number 2 and a number 3s. We need a number 1. Math is fun. Good point, man. Good point. All right. Here is the top 10 all-time quarterbacks rated by the Bleacher Report. Oh, I forgot to do it. We are down. We are down to the last 2 topics for tonight's show. So here it is. The Bleacher Report has listed their top 10 quarterbacks of all time. Where does Elway and Peyton Manning fall on this list? All right. Now, this list is interesting. And not that I disagree with any of them on there. I just disagree with some of where they placed them. I'm going to read 1 through 10, and then I'm going to say where I think they should be. And then you guys in the chat, let me know what you think. All right. Quarterbacks ranked the top 10. I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to tell you the 10th one up to number 1. Number 10, Dan Marino. Number 9, Steve Young. Number 8, Drew Brees. Number 7, Brett Favre. Number 6, John Elway. Number 5, Aaron Rodgers. Number 4, Patrick Mahomes. Number 3, Peyton Manning. Number 2, Joe Montana. And number 1, Tom Brady. Okay, now, you guys got that? Here we go. I agree with Brady being number 1. No problem with that. Joe Montana, number 2. Okay, I'll give him that. Peyton Manning, number 3. No problem with that. Patrick Mahomes, number 4. All right. Aaron Rodgers, number 5. No, I can't put Aaron Rodgers number 5. John Elway, number 6. Yeah, John Elway should be number 5. At least. I mean, Brady's won 7 Super Bowls. Montana's won, 2 or 3? Peyton Manning's won 2. Patrick Mahomes has won 3? 3 or 4? 3, I believe. Aaron Rodgers, 1. John Elway, 2. Now, okay, are we basing it on Super Bowls? I am, because that's the pinnacle of where these guys want to be. That's the reason why you play the sport, is to get to Super Bowl and win it. That's a surefire guarantee. You're more than likely going to get in the Hall of Fame. I mean, some quarterbacks don't. I mean, you got Dan Fouts of the Chargers is in the Hall of Fame. He never won a Super Bowl, never went to one. So it's not that you can't get in the Hall of Fame by not winning a Super Bowl, but there's only one guy on this list that never went to a Super Bowl, therefore never won a Super Bowl, and he's on this list. So my question is not, do I disagree with the ones on the list? I disagree with where Elway was placed. He should be ahead of Aaron Rodgers. And then you got Brett Favre. Well, Brett Favre should be ahead of Aaron Rodgers. I mean, yeah, Brett Favre only won Super Bowl, but he was in back-to-back ones. And then you got Drew Brees. Drew Brees won Super Bowl. Okay, number 8, that's fine. Steve Young, okay, he won a Super Bowl. I'll put him at number 9. Dan Marino, number 10. Really? Dan Marino never went to a Super Bowl, never won a Super Bowl because he never went. And he's number 10 on the list behind these guys who have won Super Bowls and are in the Hall of Fame, or going to be. I mean, Brady's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Montana is, Manning is, Mahomes will be, Elway is, Favre is, Breeze is going in this year. Steve Young's there. Really? Dan Marino, number 10. I know that Madungus thinks the world of Dan Marino. He probably thinks Dan Marino should be number 1 ahead of Tom Brady. But I can't go there, guys. I just can't go there because, okay, Dan Marino did great. As you know, I mean, Dan Fouts did great too, but you don't see Fouts on the top 10. It's just, I don't. And the only reason why I'm saying Dan Fouts is because of the Don Coryell, Eric Coryell thing. And they were constantly, airing it out and all this kind of stuff. And we're racking up points left and right. There's a lot of quarterbacks. Like, how about Roger Staubach? He's not on here. He won Super Bowls. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's not on here. Johnny Unitas. I mean, seriously, top 10 of all time? Of all time. Not top 10, not top 10 in the last, 20 years, 30 years. Top 10 all time. Not Johnny Unitas. Not Bart Starr. Not Roger Staubach. Dan Marino. All right. Okay. I'm just saying. Let me go down the list because I know it's probably blowing up. Megan Sam Miller says Fouts was great. I agree. He was a fantastic quarterback. I didn't like him because he was on the Chargers that was constantly beating the Broncos. But and Joshua W8083 says Staubach is massively overrated. Okay, but the Cowboys back in that day, they were a good solid team. They were a good solid team back in the day, and I mean, winning Super Bowl, and I mean, they beat the Broncos in, was it 1977? But Staubach wasn't the quarterback then. I can't remember who the quarterback was for Dallas that year, but I don't. Johnny Unitas, I agree. Paul Shatter said Johnny U. Yeah, he should be there. Johnny Unitas was fantastic. Bart Starr, a lot of these greats, man, they're just not there. Bob Greasy. There you go with the undefeated Miami Dolphins. Why wasn't he on that list? See, I'm just saying, it seems to me that these guys took the last 30 years. That's how it looks like to me, the last 30 years. And if you're saying all time is beyond 30 years. All time goes back to when the NFL started. And sure, the game has evolved. It has changed since way back when. I get that. I totally understand that. But you can't say you're doing a top 10 quarterback list all time and you're not including those from past generations. You can't do that. You can break it down and say, okay, we're going to give you the top 10 of this generation or the next generation. And that I can totally understand. Totally understand. But you can't mix apples and oranges. You can't say that Tom Brady is better than Johnny Unitas. If you're talking about Super Bowls, okay, that's well and good. I get that. And the reason why you can say that is because of Super Bowls. But you have to look at the generation. How was it back then? It was totally different. They didn't have the air attack, the passing game that we have today. They didn't have the rules that have changed to benefit the offense like they had yesteryear. So you got to stick with generation to generation to generation. That's why I say on that particular list, I don't agree with everything on there because it seems to me that they've narrowed it down to like the last 30 years. And you can't say all time if you're only doing like a 30-year bracket. Just doesn't work. Kenny Anderson for the Bengals. There you go. Kenny Anderson for the Bengals. He wasn't bad. I wouldn't put him in the top 10, but he wasn't bad. You're right. He wasn't bad at all. How about Brian Sipe of the Browns? He took him to championship games against the Broncos. Of course, Broncos beat him, but still, I mean, what was he great? Was he on that list? Should be on that list? No, not particularly, but he wasn't bad. Wasn't bad at all. How about Fran Tarkenton? He didn't win a Super Bowl, but he was a great quarterback. Fred Tarkenton. How about the recent the one that recently passed away for the Washington Redskins? What was his name? Sonny Jurgensen. Sonny Jurgensen was a great quarterback for the Redskins. Yes, Redskins guys. He played for the Redskins. They weren't the Commanders then. He was a great quarterback. All these guys, you're talking generations. You've got to go back of all time. That's all I'm saying. Philip Rivers, there's another one. Philip Rivers was a great quarterback. Never could get over the hump. Never could make it. Oh, there you go. How come Joe Namath isn't on the list? Again, Joe Namath is not on the list. He won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl nobody thought he could beat. The Jets beat the Colts. Back then, it was the Colts were in the National Football League, and the Joe Namath of the Jets was in the American Football League. That was before they merged. And nobody expected the Colts to even lose, even have a remote chance of losing to the Jets. And yet Joe Namath and the Jets won that game. How come he's not on that list? You see what I'm saying, guys? It's just, it's favoritism in my thinking. It's I guess for the Bleacher Report, all time goal goes back to 30 years. That's how I'm looking at it. It only goes back 30 years, apparently. Apparently, all time to them is 30 years ago. 1996. 1996 to 2026 is 30 years. Just saying, guys. I'm just saying. Just saying. Because you guys are bringing up some great names. And it's just, they're not there. There you go. Victory lap nailed it. He said it's subjective. Absolutely nailed it right there. Nailed it right there. Yep. Paul Shatter said the game today is soft. Most quarterbacks today wouldn't last 5 seconds in 1977. I totally agree. Totally agree. No doubt about it. Because back then you could nail the quarterback. You could knock him into next year. And no flag thrown. Can you imagine Tom Brady playing back in those days of the Purple People Eaters of the Vikings, or the Doomsday Defense of the Cowboys, or the Hogs of the Redskins, or the Raiders? The Raiders defenses back in the 70s. Oh my gosh. Tom Brady would not last. He wouldn't last a series. They would demolish him. There's no way Tom Brady would last. Not a chance. Not a chance. Great call. Great call, Paul. Megan Sam Miller says Fran Tarkenton was great. Yes, he was. Boy, that guy could scramble like nobody's been. And that was back in the day when people scrambled, or he scrambled and nobody else did. I mean, he was running for his life all the time, man. All the time. Kevin Underwood says, hey, Bill, Dan Marino did go to a Super Bowl and lost to the 49ers, Joe Montana in 84. Did he go to the Super Bowl in 84? I thought that was the Chargers. Let's see. Did Dan Marino play in a Super Bowl? Yes, Dan Marino played in one Super Bowl during his 17-year career. He led the Miami Dolphins Super Bowl on January 1985. In the second season, Dolphins lost to the 49ers 38-16. I stand corrected. There you go. Google will always have the answer. There you go. Thank you so much, Kevin. I stand corrected. And okay. I'm always willing to be corrected, because that's what the show's about. At the very beginning, I always say brought to you with emotion, passion, and honesty, and always trying to be correct. So thank you very, very much, Kevin, for correcting me and for setting the topic straight. And there you go. Okay. He went to the Super Bowl and they lost to the 49ers. Seems like everybody lost to the 49ers, man. 49ers beat the Bengals twice. The 49ers beat the Broncos 55-10, the worst beatdown in Super Bowl history. The 49ers beat the Chargers in the Super Bowl, and then they beat the Dolphins. So there you go, man. Let's see. 49ers, that means they beat the Bengals twice, the 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 Super Bowls. And maybe, and the sixth one, I think they got a sixth one. Didn't they win a Super Bowl just recently? But I know they got 5. So that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Paul Shatter said, Namath had a nice fur coat. That's it. Yeah, well, I mean, he did win a Super Bowl. He did upset the Colts. And, so there you go. Mega Smith, Sam Miller says Otto Graham was very good too. There you go. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Okay. Very last topic, guys. And here's the it is the NFL's strength of schedule. I'm going to throw this out there, and I'm going to rank it from the toughest, the hardest, down to number 15, because that's where we're cutting it off at, number 15 of the 32 teams. Here it is. The NFL has come out with the listing of the teams according to the strength of schedule. Here are the top 15 ranked from the toughest down to number 15. The Bears have the toughest schedule in the NFL based on strength of schedule. In other words, the teams they face, just like all the teams I'm going to name, the teams they face have a above 500 winning percentage. The Bears, I believe, their opponents are around 560, 570, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so that's strength of schedules. Okay, here we go. Bears toughest, Dolphins second, Packers third, Cardinals fourth, Chiefs fifth. That could be beneficial to Denver. Chiefs fifth, Patriots sixth, Raiders seventh, toughest, Bills 8th, Chargers 9th, Panthers 10th, Vikings 11, Jets 12, Rams 13, Seahawks 14th, and the Broncos 15th toughest schedule of the top 15. Now, the team with the easiest schedule, take a guess. You guys probably got it right. The Cleveland Browns have a strength of schedule of opponents under 500 in wins. Those are the teams they will face. Under 500. So, that being said, the Chiefs have a harder schedule than the Broncos. The Chargers have a harder schedule than the Broncos. And the Raiders have a harder schedule than the Broncos. And the Patriots and the Bills and the Seahawks. Well, Seahawks are just right above Denver. But Denver's 15th toughest schedule, pretty much right in the middle of the pack. Does that bode well for the Broncos going forward into 2026? I say absolutely. Absolutely. Because if the Chiefs have a harder schedule and the Chargers and the Raiders all have harder schedules than the Broncos, that means the Broncos should take advantage of the teams they play. But it's not necessarily based on just the team they're playing, but where it's played. Broncos play Seattle. They play Buffalo. They play their own division, of course. They play the Rams. We got the Patriots. But where are those games being played? That primarily is the difference. Not only as the teams that you're playing, but where the games are being played. Is it on the road? Is it late in the season where it's cold and you're on the road like in Buffalo? Are you at home? Is it early in the season? Is it before the bye week? Are they after the bye week? All of those come into play. Okay? So, strength of schedule, the Broncos number 15, Chargers, Chiefs, Raiders have a harder schedule based on the opponent's win-loss record of this past season. All right, guys, we're going to get back into the chat real quick. Let's see. Paul Shatter says offseason could change all that. Absolutely, it could. Absolutely. A lot of variables come into play. Yeah, and that's another thing, too. Paul follows up by saying Goodell wants all these foreign games. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. I don't want them. I don't want them. I still can't believe the Rams are playing in Australia. They're playing in Australia. That's a 17-hour flight from LA. That's ridiculous. That's just totally stupid. Totally stupid. All right. Since Spence isn't here, and he usually always writes down the he writes down like who is hang on. How come I'm not getting this mail thing to move? He writes down all the people who've been in the chat. I'm just going to go down the list. See if I can find out what's going on here. There we go. Um, Mega Sam Miller says Goodell would play on the moon if he could. Yeah, probably would. He probably would love that. All right. Spence isn't here, but he usually writes down the names of the people. I'm just going to go down the list quickly. Victor Lapp, thank you so much for being in the chat. Really do appreciate it. Brad H, thank you so much. Genesis Alvarez, thank you so much for your comments. Appreciate it. Dom Mars 58. Mega Sam Miller 46 MD. Thank you guys so much for being in the chat with your comments. Big E Bronco, thank you for jumping in. Appreciate it. Madungis, the owner of the MHRT network, says the Cubs suck. Well, he doesn't like baseball too much. Anyways, thanks for being in the chat. Appreciate it. T-Bomb 322, thanks so much for your comments. Appreciate it. Jimin 819, thanks. Appreciate your comments a lot. You guys have been great with your takes. Clayton Haran, always grateful to have you in the chat because he always says, hey guys, hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate you being in the chat as always. Chewy's Raiders coverage. I hope you stuck around to hear the Raider comments and Raider topics. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Let's see anybody else. Ty Eagles, thank you so much for being in the chat and your support comment. Really do appreciate it. Means a lot. Paul Shatter, thank you so much for your comments. Rick Nichols said the Denver hoof. Oh yeah, really, that is right. Yeah, well, you're entitled to your comment. It's all good. Appreciate it. Continuing on down, anybody else I might have missed? Don't want to miss anybody. Kevin Underwood, thank you so much for correcting me when it comes to Dan Marino being in the Super Bowl. Thank you so much for correction. Always welcome them. It's always great to be corrected just because I know that, I learned something. I never knew. I completely forgot he was in the Super Bowl. Thank you for that. Continuing on down. Anybody else? Welders fence. Marino went to Super Bowl, right? Yep. Okay. Thank you for your comment. Appreciate it. Joshua W83 or 8083. Thank you so much for your comment as well. Appreciate it. Going down the list. Anybody else? I don't want to miss anybody. You guys have been fantastic. Let's see. Going here through quickly. I think that's it. That is a wrap, guys. Thank you once again so much for being in the chat, for the support that you give Spence and myself each and every week. Spence, hopefully we'll be back next week. Like you said, he's at the Genesis Invitational as a volunteer, and he's a director of one of the things that they do out there where they carry the sign of the players' names and what their score is on that particular group that they're following. So guys, until next week, hopefully Spence will be back. Really do miss his insight and his comments. I know you guys do as well. Until next Friday, 5, 6, 7, and 8, going live. Until next Friday, guys, have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the weekend and whatever you may be doing. Stay warm if you're in cold country. After all, it is winter, so summer is around the corner. By the way, daylight saving time is March 8th. Can you believe we're turning our clocks forward March 8th? Guys, don't forget, we'll be reminding you as we get closer to that date. Till next Friday, guys, have a fantastic weekend. We will talk to you then. Take care. Bye-bye.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Tempo's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast's racking up the flight miles. So high, I might never come down.